I wanted to give Billy Ray the opportunity to introduce himself and to tell you about what the Rhodes Scholar means in general, and also what it means for him. I can tell you I'm a big fan of him and the work that he does. The writing that he does is excellent, and it really should make us all proud as Treaty 8 people that we have such an amazing scholar to call our own. And I'd like to welcome Billy Ray and congratulate you once again.
Firstly, thank you, Tanya, for that wonderful introduction. And I'm so humbled to be here amongst elders, community members from the Turtle Cree Nation, and other Indigenous peoples from Treaty 8. As you heard, my name is Billy Ray Belcourt, and I'm from the Turtle Cree Nation, and I'm currently completing my BA Honors in Comparative Literature at the University of Alberta. And thank you. And there I am in my second term as the president of the Aboriginal Student Council, amongst other leadership and extracurricular activities. And in November, I was elected a Rhodes Scholar, as you now know. And each year, there are 11 students from across Canada who are selected for the position, either undergraduates or graduates. And the criteria, I guess, is four things: so intellect, leadership, character, and commitment to service. And so you have to maintain sort of all four of those sort of pillars. And the award, the Rhodes Scholarship, has been in Canada since 1904. And as many of you know, this year I was the first ever First Nations Rhodes Scholar to be selected amongst its over 100-year history. Yeah, that's really exciting. There are a few Métis scholars, so it's very important that I emphasize that it's the first First Nations, which a lot of people haven't been emphasizing. But I think, yeah, it's a great achievement, not only for myself, but for Treaty 8 in general, that we can say that the first ever came from our community. And so I'll be going to Oxford University in England to study beginning in September 2016 until July 2018, and then hopefully I'll return to Canada to do my PhD somewhere. And yeah, so I've been asked a lot by the media what this means for me personally, but obviously it means a lot to me in both career-wise and sort of a reward for the effort I've sort of put in the last few years of my education. But also, I always say it means a lot to my family and my community and to Indigenous peoples in general. I've received so much, I guess, praise, and sort of a lot of people have been messaging me from across Canada, but also globally too. And it's really been humbling, and I'm so happy to be here today. And thank you again for celebrating this achievement with me.
Thank you. Billy Ray, when your name came up and look at the last name Belcourt, it's got to be a relative of mine. So, and for sure, talking to other of my relatives, he's a distant relative of mine. I'm very proud of you. First time meeting you this morning, and you know, I'm sure all the young people that are listening to you, you're a role model to all the young people that are coming up, and you've demonstrated well in what you're doing for yourself, but also the First Nations across this country, all young people. You're an excellent role model to us. So on behalf of Treaty 8 First Nations, we want to congratulate you and offer you back a feather of your success, and also a presentation to you so that you can continue your studies. Thank you very much.
For taking part in the tribute to Billy Ray. When we hold up our young people and praise them for their accomplishments, we're also holding up and praising ourselves in support of them. So when one of us succeeds, all of us succeed. So it's very important that we continue to do this, to let them know that they are supported and that we are proud of them. One of the other things I wanted to give an opportunity to, and I'll be doing it again because I see some of our leadership is not in the room at the moment, but I would like to give the opportunity for our chiefs of Treaty 8 to say hello and just introduce themselves so you know who's here amongst you and who's listening. So perhaps we'll do one round of introductions now and then a little bit later and again tomorrow so people can be knowing who's here. I want to start with Chief Capo.
Thank you, Tanya. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Scott Hall. My name is Richard Chappell. I'm the chief of the Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just want to thank all the organizers for putting this event together. I'd like to thank all the support staff that are here today. Also, just to acknowledge the elders and the youth today. And just want to say, it's good to see everybody here and support in education. So that being said, my name is Eugene Horstman, the Chief of Horse Lake First Nation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm honored to be here. It's been a good experience for me so far, being able to learn about what Treaty 8 has to offer in terms of education for our communities. There's a lot of communication that needs to be happening with the grassroots people of our nations. I see a little bit of disconnect there when it comes to developing these programs and actually implementing them on the communities. So some work needs to happen there to build not just a good communication strategy, but also to create trust between the PPO and the nations. I'm representing Chief Dean Giroux today, and unfortunately he wasn't able to make it. He hasn't been feeling well.
Arthur Noski Sigasun. Wiskataman Gating Nohum, Nosking my name is Arthur Noski. I'm the Chief of Lugar River First Nation, and thank you for your participation today as we, venture forward on a better education process and system for the future of our kids and grandkids. And so I'm a grandfather now too. I have to start thinking about my grandkids. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Diane, proxy for Smith Landing First Nation, Diane Benwell. I'm very happy to be in attendance for the education. There's lots that I do have to learn and bring back to our First Nation. Maybe I should just to explain a little bit where I'm from. I'm from Smith Landing First Nation, which is located right on the border of the Northwest Territories and Alberta, and our reservation is in Alberta, so I am Alberta card, everything. So here I am. Thank you.
Merci Joe. C'est là Gerald Antoine. C'est qu'on Philippe was at qu'on was at 고와 같은 데에 있는 여기가 미래적인 것을 대파이나 맛이 내지는. I am Dene, and I come from a community called Fiji Clan. This is how we say that particular area and that community is a confluence of two rivers, the Dextro and Nacha Day. However, if you look at what has happened in our area is that we were here and there were also other people that landed on our shores and they've introduced a lot of things to us. That's what we have in common. One of the things that happened in our area is that the Northwest Company came, one of the people that were representing the Northwest Company was a young man called Alexander Mackenzie. And he came through Fort Ship. He went down and found our area. And also they called that place Fort of the Forts. And also the Hudson Bay Company later on, after they amalgamated their economic forces, they called that place after their Governor General, George Simpson. So if you look on the map in English, it says Fort Simpson. However, as Dene, we call it Chichi Kwan. Chichi is meaning that where two rivers flow into each other. Kwan is associated with the word Kong, which is a fireplace, home place. So that's where I come from. And I heard about your gathering here. And what really interested me is that you're working on your own educational system. And I'm really glad to hear that there are other groups that are also looking at developing your own educational system. What has happened, all of us that we have in common is that we got pushed aside. And there's something introduced to us, and they say, this is who you need to be, this is what you have to say, this is how you have to do things, and this is how you think. This is what has happened to us, and that's what we have in common. We need to work with our elders because they're the connection to how we are as our own people. They have perspectives, concepts that are really original, and we need to really understand what it is. And we need to build on those things. And that's the idea that some of us are beginning to generate among our communities. However, when you go through fear-based approaches, we all experience that. We're afraid to do things. We're afraid to say things. We're afraid to do things. We're afraid to feel things. All these things has an impact on us. And the residential school is one of the arenas that has happened. So we need to be who we are. And for me, Dene. And the word Dene is two concepts. Dene, De, it has to do with the land. Ne has to do with spirit. So we have to be that. So I just wanted to let you know that I really like to thank my nephew Kaya, who works for you, for letting me know about this. And I'm glad that there was a north wind because I put up my sail and here I am. The other thing too is that I'm Treaty 11, and you probably heard that there are other Dene communities down in our area have gone through comprehensive claim agreements. It's an extinguishment agreement, and in the Treaty 11, we're the last of the Treaty 11. And you probably heard about that movie, The Last of the Mohegans. Well, they might be working on a movie about us. But anyways, We also have a regional assembly. We're going to be having that in one of our communities further down river in July. It's not really determined when. And following that, we're going to have the Dene National Assembly, and it's going to be in my community in Fiji Grant. So you're more than welcome to come. And I think if we all get together as Indigenous people and share what our vision is and share these things, it really helps to feel that confident, and also the interest as to what each of us is all about and what we're all doing. Just like this young man that got an award, he's leading into something for the people that are following, and it's really empowering to have somebody lead those kind of things. So I like to say, Masi.
Hello, Chief Trevor Mercury from Beaver First Nation. I'd like to thank all the elders, the people in the gallery, our elders for the prayer this morning. It was a nice grand opening. I'd also like to thank the people manning the cameras back there and taking care of them. It's a nice change to see that we're putting a lot of what's going on with the First Nations out into the public. So with that, I'd like to thank everybody for coming, and thank you.
Hello, I'm Darcy Twin from Sarge First Nation. I'm counselor. I'm here on behalf of the chief. I'd like to thank the elders for being here and everybody being here for this gathering. Thanks.
Miutit betaksidik kakeo istiayak naskund nao taktovan stoktawit meeting education. It's always good. It's always good to have an education meeting to make sure where we're heading, make sure we have a good plan, and take it forward. And at the same time, we have to make sure we're doing the right thing for our youth. It's very important. It's been too long that all we did was talk a lot. We should do some action this time with the new government and have a real good plan, a real solid, to move ahead, not to move sideways, backwards. Let's try to do it. We have the Grand Chief here that kind of spearheading, and also his technicians that we have to look at. And also, every time there's going to be a resolution or MOU, we should have it here so we can look at it, not at a time when we're going to sign it or we got to study it, let's say, if we're doing the right thing, because it's very important to make sure everything goes smooth, and also even to do a lot of debate. We have to do a lot of debate on that one to the government, provincial and also the federal. So those things are very important, and I know sometimes we go off track. Sometimes you see me not sitting here when people starting to go off track. You know, we have to stick to education. If that's on the agenda here. So what is our next move? When? How long is it going to take? So those things we have to make sure, like, even in my own First Nation, sometimes Treaty 8 moves on its own without, we have also tribal councils. We have our own First Nations, like there's 3 levels, type of way that we do things. So sometimes there's a misunderstanding somewhere. So I think if we work together, share information, that way I think we'd move ahead. Thank you.
Good afternoon, once again. Yeah, it's always good to be here at an education conference because most of my life I've spent in working with education. But now, in just looking over the last 30-some years that I've been involved, I think this is the time that we're at the cusp of something happening, and something that's going to be happening is really going to be good for us. And I think also we're at the driver's wheel now. Instead of somebody else driving us, and I think that makes a difference. Like, for example, someone else said education had been used against us as a weapon for far too long, like the residential school. They tried to do away with the Indian, but lo and behold, we're still here, and I think we're stronger because of it. Now, I know with this presentation that they had this morning with the United Nations Declaration on Indigenous Peoples' Rights, we have to use our own interpretation there. And how we're going to be able to govern ourselves and our laws, and as far as education is concerned. I just recently got invited to Alberta Education to sit on the steering committee for Indigenous Languages program. And our first meeting is on February 1st and another one on February 12th. But I'm just letting you know that. Because I want the direction from here. I can't go up there and just, I have my own mind, of course, but at the same time, I'd rather have, what people think of, because it makes our stance a lot stronger on what we're going to be needing and how we're going to be going forward in education. So that's going to be going on, and I'm going to be asking the Chiefs Committee this afternoon on the panel presentations. So, and anyone else who has any ideas on how, this is the time, right? And in the next few days, to give us collect our thoughts on and have a unified approach. Okay, aye.
Thank you, Chief.